Hello, I wanted to make a quick video about Don't Hug Me, I'm Scared. Ever since the show aired, and before that, ever since the YouTube series, I've never been able to get it out of my head. And now with the show being concluded, and it being enough time for it to stew in my mind, there's some kind of sick obsession I have with this show, and it's hard to explain it, but no matter what, something don't make sense in this show, and I don't think I'll be able to rest easy until somebody figures it out. And when I say quick video, I mean quick turnaround time, not run time.
Going so fast like a merry-go-round.
You don't need a third grader's recap of what Don't Hug Me, I'm Scared is. It's an internet darling, and everyone's seen it. Let's assume we've all watched the YouTube series, and we've all seen the TV show, and let's pretend we don't know anything about a certain TV pilot that aired at Sundance and some of it was leaked. Wink. After watching the TV show, I was waiting for good old Matt Pat to make a little film theory on it and make everything make sense. But then he didn't. At least, he did too late, and too little in my opinion. Instead, I found a new theorist named Rem Games. Not only did he crank 3 videos out before Matty P, but his theories were way more in-depth and focused. I highly recommend watching his videos, because this video is simply a piggyback off of his. Basically, to every one of Rem's videos, I have commented pretty detailed sub-theories. Now, I'm not sure how YouTube's comment algorithm bot works, or doesn't work, but it at least feels like nobody's seen them, and I feel like these theories are definitely worth mentioning. At the very least, they're definitely worth me making a video out of. So, I'm going to recap each of my theories and sub-theories, all with updates and improvements. And again, in the spirit of quick turnaround time, I have split up my 18-page script, and I'm going to focus on one theory per video.
That's not enough time!
There's always time for a song.
Part 1. What are these symbols? In short, Rem theorizes that these symbols on Yellow Guy's book actually refer to each of the 3 guys' names.
These 3 symbols right here are each of the main characters' names.
On top of that, each first symbol is their first name, and each second symbol is their last name.
But that would be kind of weird, considering that would mean that Yellow Guy's name is after his surname.
My wild theory on this is that it's possibly that Red Guy goes by his last name. Like, what if his full name is Roy Red Guy? They can't call him Roy because there already is a Roy.
What I think could be the real meaning is that each of these are a trait that each of them possess.
I like that idea, but I think it may need some tweaking. What if the characters were characters? Like, lessons learned. Character traits. Yellow Guy is the focal point of the show. He's the one who the teachers are supposed to be teaching. Yellow Guy has been around for all the lessons, so he has more character traits acquired. Hence, it takes more characters to spell his name. In contrast, Duck gets replaced nearly every episode. In this series, he is very one-note, and his character type is a grouch who doesn't like to change or learn lessons. He's not designed to.
You know what? I'm actually glad I don't have a family.
That would mean his ideogram will always be a very simple symbol that will always stay the same. So for Duck's name to be literally one character on the keyboard is actually a meta in-joke that he's just a one-dimensional character.
What's that? It's Duck's name on something that represents himself.
Look, he's one of those guys who has one of himself.
Hey,
I want to add some additional information to his theory because I think it's the most logical one we got.
Our first question is, who wrote this book? Then we need to figure out why Leslie even has this book. And then we finally need to figure out what this book says.
Here's what we know about these symbols. 1. Yellow Guy made up the symbols. 2. This book is Yellow Guy's. I think it's a safe inference to make that Yellow Guy actually wrote this book.
When looking at this, we have 3 possible choices. We do, however, have a lot more evidence for Yellow Guy writing this book.
Unfortunately, we do not know when or why he wrote the book, or even what it says, but I do have a guess.
What I think could be the real meaning is that each of these are a trait that each of them possess. This specific trait will play a vital role later in the show, and will be the way that all 3 of them finally break out of this never-ending cycle for good.
Unfortunately, we have no way to confirm this unless we one day get to see more people's name symbols.
This creates a huge complication, however. If Yellow Guy created these symbols, how could he possibly write this book before he received it?
I think quite simply, enlightened Yellow Guy has climbed the stairs before and met with Leslie, presumably to conspire with her about escaping. The symbols are a code so that the council, as we'll call them, can't understand it. For some reason, the requirements for escape were not met, and knowing he had only a limited amount of time at full charge, Yellow Guy gave the book to Leslie for safekeeping until he can return for it. In the meantime, as he was losing his brain power, Yellow Guy left the symbols all over the house as a way to hopefully jog his memory one day. After all, his one job is to remember it.
What? That's your only thing. You came up with it, you're supposed to remember it.
Oh, yeah.
We not only figured out who wrote this book, but how this book could possibly have been written in this timeline. The old, smart Yellow Guy and Leslie were coming up with a plan to break the cycle. So how do they scheme to break free from this cycle? Yellow Guy creates a language, a dialect that only he can understand, but this book is the way to escape.
Rem offers a suggestion that we might be dealing with alternate versions of all the characters, which is why the other guys recognized Duck's symbol in episode 4 and not in episode 6. I think that's wrong. I'll give an explanation to that part later on, or in another video, but for now, I want to just throw out this whole idea.
Yes, sir. I'm pathetic.
I don't think we are dealing with alternate versions of all the characters. I think that idea is dumb, lazy, and a cop-out. Not on Rem's part, but to the show's credit. I think the council is more intelligent and caring about their fans than that.
Yeah, you're just jealous because I'm actually good at it, and I look like a smart boy in my outfit.
Though it's true that Leslie says and shows us that she has plenty of replacements, at least one of the three guys has to be the only one. Put simply, Red Guy and Yellow Guy have always been the same guys. Proof. 1. By omission. We see Duck's replacements. Only spare Ducks are in the drawer. The only drawer. Additionally, we see how Duck gets replaced from the outside, and we see how Duck gets replaced mid-episode.
There you are.
No one else experiences anything else like that.
I'd better get back to work.
2. If Red Guy could be replaced, Leslie would have done so to prevent Red Guy from driving away and taking the other guys with him. If Yellow Guy could be replaced, then the council would have done so after he was enlightened the first time, or Leslie after the twins kidnapped him. 3. Yellow Guy definitely cannot be replaced. For one, he doesn't need to be. As long as he is out of juice, he will always be a dumb character who will need to learn lessons and never grow as a character. Just like how characters like Elmo and Big Bird, who have been around for decades, yet they still don't know the goddamn alphabet.
At least it doesn't hurt to think anymore.
But the most definitive proof Yellow Guy can't be replaced is Roy's presence. Roy is always watching his son from just off screen, like a pageant mom. There's no way they could replace Yellow Guy without Roy finding out. We'll get to Roy in another video. It's actually my favorite theory and my favorite part to this entire thing. But for now, let's just recap some things about the book. What we know / can infer with high confidence. Yellow Guy wrote the book for his future self. The symbols, which Yellow Guy explicitly states is a puzzle he made up,
Oh, and I actually made up a little spatial distribution-based puzzle of my own, see?
are likely the three guys' names. Yellow Guy and Red Guy are the same characters throughout the series. Duck is easily replaceable. In fact, we might as well assume that Duck is a new Duck every episode, if not more often. Before we continue with the real juicy stuff that I personally find more interesting, we gotta skip to Rem's third video because he's really into these damn symbols that we literally have not enough information to decode. Rem suggests that the symbols are actually ideograms, which he mispronounces every time, and it kinda got on my nerves a little.
This type of language is called an ideogram. With the last ideogram example, the numeric and mathematical symbols are ideograms, many types of ideograms. These are all ideograms rather than logograms.
Ideogram.
Where small portions of the gram join together to form a much more complex idea than simply a single word or name.
Based on pattern analysis, it would seem that adjectives pierce through knowns, such as objects or items. This triangle, not only visually but linguistically, can very easily correlate to a beak, and this entire line here could mean beak bearing.
But if you really want to force this theory and keep to Rem's hieroglyphic ideographic theory, it's possible that this language is simply not able to be programmed into a computer. So Duck's name is simply programmed as a hotkey, while Yellow Guy's name would have to be spelled out the way the ideogram is read. For example, if Duck's ideogram translates to mean,
I'm a talking crow-like thing.
that will never change, so you can just make a hotkey for it. But then Yellow Guy's name would be something like, the yellow pig who is Roy's dad and learned about creativity and time and health and love and dreams and jobs and death and family, etc. This implies that Yellow Guy's name is always adding character, literally and figuratively. In short, Yellow Guy's name is actually an ingenious password, but with the bad batteries, he just can't remember every life experience he's had.
That's not going to fit. What's wrong with you?
Huh?
I'm going to have to shred the whole thing now in my personal home shredder.
This concludes the video where I discuss 6 random symbols that we will never know the answer to because they were destroyed by their sole creator who doesn't remember what they mean. I will see you in my next video where I discuss another theory.
Okay, fine.
Bye!
This video has taken it completely out of me.